do have to emphasize at the beginning of this, I am sorry if you hear any more big explosions. We are recording this on 4th of July. I hope everyone out there had a great 4th of July weekend, had some good times with their family and friends. I cannot personally complain too much about my experience, although I'm not a huge fan of 4th of July. If I have to be honest, it's lower on the totem pole of holidays for me. I know some people, including my cousin, has it as their favorite holiday, which like I can kind of see, but personally, I'm always going to have Thanksgiving as my number one, and then, so on and so on. But anyway, it's been a while since we've been here. It's been 2 weeks for us, even though it's technically only been a week for you guys. You guys had the break 2 weeks ago, technically now, because of some uploading issues, but we're back, ready to get rolling, fresh off of this Vegas break that we had last week. I mean, a 10 out of 10 experience, so much fun. I can't wait to go on more trips like that. And the second day, because it was the thing about the trip that made it so just enjoyable is it's one of those things where you're just around good people, good friends, good family, and it's just like the smallest things are memories that you're just going to remember forever or for years to come. And it's just like, man, you can't get those without taking those trips out of your day. I'm curious. I know for me personally, that night that we went to the club made it like a 10 out of 10 for me, on top of the experiences that we had, the little fun moments, whatever it may be. Personally, what would you give our first Vegas trip post being 21 out of 10? Like what I don't know if it was a 10 for you, but was it an 8? Was it a 9? Like what was your personal stance on Vegas?
I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I didn't leave with money in my pocket like I expected to, but
yeah. And that's the craziest
kind
story.
Of a short trip.
Dude, we first get out to the casino, and Jaden here, what was it? It was roulette that you went up to the table first? I mean, if you want to, you can go into that story. He hits on his first 2 bets. And I've been trying to I tried to tell other people about this. What was the second one that you bet on? I didn't know because I'm not familiar with roulette.
The first roulette I just did. I put 25 on even, which is just like a 1-to-1 payout. So I'd win 25 back, and all I had to do was land on an even number, and it landed on an even number. So I got $25, including my $25 back. So I went from 25 to 50, and then I just said fuck it, and I put 25 on this green spot, which paid at 11-to-1 odds. Yeah. And there's like 3 spots on the roulette wheel that it could land on, that where it would hit, and all 3 of those spots were all next to each other. They weren't like spread out. And it was these green spots, didn't have numbers on them. They had just like a weird logo, like a circle on it, and it was 11-to-1 payout odds, and it hit. So right there, I think it was $275. Dude. So immediately in like 5 minutes, I was up $300. And then
literally the first few minutes we get out to the floor, bro. And I remember like the last drop, it like landed on the square right next to it, and then like just jumped over to hit. Oh, bro, that was so high. Even like the freaking whatever bank person that was at the table was like smiling and excited for it, bro. It was that was crazy. I didn't do really any gambling myself. I wanted to, but it was one of those things where like I told myself going into Vegas, and that's why when we went out to the club, I really wanted to have a good time and show out. But like I wanted to break out of my shell and be way more out there when we went to Vegas. And I felt like that first night when we went out to the casino, even though it was only like for really like an hour, probably hour and a half, I didn't sit at any table, and I wish I would have. And again, that's why I said that next night we went out there. I'll explain that story a little bit, and then we'll start getting into some NFL whatever talk, even though, again, we're in a dry spot of the off season. I go in there, and first of all, when we first walk in, this shit is dead ass straight out of a movie, right? I've never been to a club, first time ever. I'm talking about lights are flashing, music going crazy. Like when we first walked in, it was one of those scenes that you'll see in like a fucking TikTok video where it's dead ass like pitch black and then it lights up, pitch black lights. Like it was crazy. Like sometimes when you're in a club, it's like lights flashing in and out, but it's like you can see the whole time. No, this was literally going pitch black, light on, pitch black, light on. Like it was crazy, right? So we first walk in, it's all like that. And then I can see everybody kind of timid, like moving slow, whatever. It felt like nobody really knew where they wanted to go. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to get to the front of this. And I'm going to lead us out to the dance floor, right? I bring us out to the dance floor. Once everybody's out there, we're in a cool spot. Everybody's getting comfortable. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take charge here. And I'm like, I'm going to ask everybody if they're good with a shot. Everybody wanted to. And I'm like, I'm going to go up to the bar and get everybody a shot, right? I walk up there and it's just crowded. Hella people. Bartenders going fast, everything. And I'm like nervous going up to this, bro. Cause like, again, you kind of got to take charge and take initiative of like in positions like this. Like you can't be timid and shy or you'll get missed out on. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up to this bar. I'm gonna act like I've been here before. I'm gonna get everybody a shot. Everybody's gonna calm down, have a good time. Bro, when that bill came to me, I mean, man, they robbed me. They robbed me for 7 shots. To just put it that way. I know that people talk about bottles in clubs can get up to like $1,000. They robbed me for those 7 shots. We'll say that. But again, I wanted to take initiative. I wanted to make sure everybody had a good time. So I was cool with it. Got everybody a shot. Everybody was cool. Pull up, took a sip, and then we went out to the dance floor. And that DJ was playing straight bangers. And your boy may or may not have got called. Got a shoulder tap for a couple of dances. Let's just put it at that, and we'll leave it at that. And we had a good time, and Vegas was 10 out of 10. I'm excited to go back. We'll probably end up going on a snow trip we were talking about. They're talking about trying to get to Japan. I don't know how likely that is, but I'm with whatever. Anyway, let's finally get into some actual NFL talk. And this is actually going to connect to the NBA. Y'all know we talk about the NBA a little bit on this podcast, even though it is an NFL-dominated podcast. Since the NFL has been so dry, it's been the exact opposite for the NBA in this offseason. There have been trades left and right, free agency. It's been going crazy. So I wanted to do a fun exercise with me and Jaden. We are going to be comparing the blockbuster NBA trades to the NFL. We're going to try to find the equivalent for these trades. So not like past trades that have happened. We're going to try to, for example, Giannis gets traded to the Heat. We're going to try to find Giannis in the NFL, compare him to an NFL player, and then we're going to try to find a team that would match the Heat and then also match a similar package. Now, obviously, trades aren't one for one, right? First round picks are immensely more valuable in the NFL than the NBA. I mean, shit, you can argue a third round pick in the NFL most of the time is more valuable than a first round pick, depending on who you're getting it from. Like draft compensation, players that are included, it's so much different. So it'll be a little bit tough to maybe find some matches, but we're going to do the best we can. We're going to start out here. Jaylen Brown getting traded to the Sixers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. So I think we should start it by trying to figure out who is the Jaylen Brown of the NFL. Is this a quarterback? Is this a receiver? Is this a running back? I'm thinking it's more receiver running back type of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking running back.
Okay, so we can stay on running back. Where would you place? Because he's not like I'm not putting him Bijan. I'm not putting him Gibbs because I'm trying to compare like play style, maybe personality wise. Like, Jaylen Brown's a Finals MVP, All NBA second team. Like, is he like a Devon A-Chain or is that not really too fitting? Let me jog my brain.
I was thinking
here
like
with
a
some
maybe
running backs.
like a James Cook or a Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh, Jonathan Taylor, I actually like. I think he's better than James Cook. I think I'd put him a notch above him. Jonathan Taylor, I like. Now, I was gonna say, do we look at this from like the aspect of the team that's also giving him up? But I'm like, that's probably a little too much. I think we should just focus on the player. I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. We'll do that. So our
Be like
Jaylen
trading
Brown.
Jonathan Taylor to Target
Ooh.
for a pack of plain white Goodfellas tees.
Yeah, that's
And,
pretty damn accurate.
Maybe some
But I was gonna
Skittles.
say we can also try to find like now I don't know if this team has a huge rivalry that we could really do, but we could also try to like who's the rivalry for the Indianapolis Colts currently? Like it's like they don't really have one. Like
It'd have to be in division. It'd be like maybe the Jags.
Okay, and will we keep? We
Maybe
could
the
keep the
Patriots
running back
from
cycle.
back in the day, but I don't know how long they hold on to that these days.
Yeah,
From like
So
the
who are the-
Manning and Brady battles.
if we were to try to keep it in division, what we'd have Texans. Ooh. Jonathan Taylor. No, because Paul George is Paul George. Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect him. I was going to say the Texans did get David Montgomery, and that would not be a bad Jonathan Taylor to the Texans for David Montgomery and like a second and a third round pick. Is that somewhat accurate? Because
No.
obviously it's 2 first round picks, 2 second round picks, but you have to somehow get it there. What, you don't like the draft compensation or the player?
Yeah, too much draft compensation.
Okay, so what would you say, like a third and a fifth, or
Maybe
just
like
a third, a fourth, maybe a fourth and a sixth?
Sure.
Because I think it is 4 picks in total. I feel like 2 would be nice. So I think that's fair.
But it's more to it than just the package, because it's like, that's what I'm saying. This stuff is hard because like it's worse for like in the NBA, because like it makes no sense for the Celtics to do it. Like they're in a win now mode. Why the hell do they want picks? So
You know what?
obviously
You're
you gotta
right.
match the compensation, but it's like it's more than just the picks. It's the situation that they're in. That's what makes it just, a bad trade in retrospect. Because it's like you're trading, you want to get, they're a team that's contending. Like Colts aren't really contending. The Celtics are contending when healthy. They just won a championship 2 years ago.
That is really good, because now that you say that, I almost want to like what if we did go down that path? What if we went, instead of a Jonathan Taylor, what if we went back to a James Cook, or I think he's better than like a Kyron. I'm trying to think of a team that would be in a contending.
That's why it's too hard. It's too hard to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, maybe not the running backs. We'd have to maybe switch to receivers.
Okay.
I mean, a team that's contending,
like
Puka, but then it's like you don't really want to put Jaylen Brown on the Puka level, but I think we kind of have to.
What if so who would we look as contenders? What if we did like Nico Collins? Or
he's not as big of a. I mean, they're contenders
above him.
Yeah, but he's not as valuable.
Amon-Ra I like. Amon-Ra I like a lot.
It's not.
And
terrible.
then we would find and then we could find an older receiver in division that they would trade him for. Is there? I don't even know if any of these. Who's another Lions? Like what if it was like the Niners for Mike Evans? Like I'm trying to think of an NFC team that potentially has like matched up with them, because honestly, in their division, like I don't think the Packers, Vikings, or Bears have any age appropriate person that would make any type of sense here. And
maybe
it would have
to
to
the
be
Bears, but this is kind of, they don't have this player anymore, but like a DJ Moore type player.
Yeah, or when they had Keenan Allen, that would have fit like perfectly.
Keenan Allen that might be disrespecting Paul George a little too much.
I mean, Keenan Allen was. To be fair, Keenan Allen in his prime was.
Yeah, but that's not Paul George. I think we're just going like current player, because that's what it is. That they're getting current Paul George, and how much better does that make them if they just had
What if
Jaylen
it
Brown?
were to be? What if it were to be Devontae Adams? Is Devontae Adams too good?
Yeah, I think so. He's still too good.
Okay. So I'm thinking we. But then again, like Paul George at this point, you could argue it. Not you could argue is probably better than Mike Evans at this point. But I kind of like that trade. I'm kind of stuck. This is tough. And it also has to fit. I think with the other ones, it won't be as hard because this one, I want to look at it from the division rival from that standpoint. I like Amon-Ra. I like that we've landed on Amon-Ra. But it's like, it is tough to try to find a way out from there. Maybe we go CeeDee Lamb. And then we try to work off that. The Cowboys got a lot of rivalries in there. Like, does anybody on the Giants make sense to trade? The Eagles, not really. But, I mean, Washington, I don't even think they would have anybody that would make a lot of sense.
You got Terry McLaurin, but I think he's still maybe still
but
better
it's also
than
the age
current
thing.
Paul
And
George.
then, yeah, it is tough.
You wouldn't be that mad. I mean, obviously you'd be mad, but like.
Do you know what what if we kept with the Niners then? Because I think the Niners-Cowboys rivalry is much more realer than the Lions. And we go CeeDee for Mike Evans, a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick.
Sure.
Okay. So our NBA to NFL equivalent would be CeeDee Lamb traded to the 49ers for Mike Evans, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick, in equivalent to the Jaylen Brown trade, which I think that's pretty solid. It's tough to get these 1-for-1, but that's pretty solid. The next trade we'll get into, Giannis Antetokounmpo getting traded to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Kasparis Yakachonis, 3 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 1 second-round pick. I feel like the Giannis of the NFL got traded this offseason, and that was Myles Garrett. I think that's fair. Or is Giannis like Josh Allen? Because, again, Myles Garrett is as dominant as like a Giannis, but because Giannis is a top 5 player when healthy, we may have to look at Giannis as a quarterback. Would you rather Giannis be Josh Allen or Myles Garrett? I think it would have to be Josh Allen because it's such a big, like, if this was like, I'm trying to think of, if this was like maybe like a dominant center, like then you could maybe compare it to like a Myles Garrett. But because he's a top 5 player, an MVP candidate, and like can lead your team to a championship, I think we do have to go quarterback route. And I think Josh Allen would make the most sense. But then again, we can't look at it from position. We can't look at it from like a position asking out unless we go like Lamar, because Lamar would make a little more sense comparing it to the Bucs situation. But I don't know. Would you rather?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. This was too hard. The Giannis one is just going to be too hard to do.
I think we'll just key in on Josh Allen. We won't even factor in the team part for that. We'll say Giannis to the NFL equivalent is Josh Allen, and then we'll just find a team. We'll find a kind of middle of the pack team that can take a huge leap with Josh Allen as their quarterback, but also probably have like a decent, like not even decent, but just like a young return. Would we say like this? I mean, this could be funny enough. Would it be like, could we do like the Falcons or like the Cardinals or like
I was thinking maybe the Colts.
The Colts wouldn't be bad. Yeah, like a middle of the pack team, kind of on the edge, shaky. Colts is not bad. Now, what would be that return like? Let me check out
their depth chart.
Yeah, I'm going Colts depth chart and seeing.
I think the main
what
player
the
that's
return.
off limits you have to hold is like a Sauce or maybe a Jonathan Taylor. I think other than that, I mean, everybody could be on the chopping block.
So what if we did like Riley Leonard?
You'd have to probably put Tyler Warren in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you'd have to go Riley Leonard, Tyler Warren, maybe one defensive player.
Why not Anthony Richardson?
I think Leonard would be maybe more intriguing. Maybe Rich.
Anthony Richardson for like a Yakachonis.
Yeah, that is fair. That is what I'm trying to. I was gonna say. I
Obviously,
think Riley Leonard would be
Yak. I don't know how high you think of Riley Leonard. What he's gonna ever do anything?
It's more of like I'm more like really low on Richardson at this point, unfortunately. But I think that could be fair. Yeah. Maybe a team would want to take the upside because that's what they are doing. They're trading their superstar quarterback. Okay, so it would be Allen to the Colts for Richardson, Warren, and then I think we'd go one defensive player, which could be like. I feel is Leatu Latu too much? That's not too much. You're trading him for Josh Allen. I think Leatu Latu, Tyler Warren, Anthony Richardson, one first-round pick and like a third-round pick. Is that
a first-round pick? Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's four total picks for Giannis. It's 3 unprotected and a pick swap, and you're getting Josh Allen. You're getting a top, 3 quarterback in the league. People probably have a lot of people have him as 1, and he's in his prime, and he's gonna do this for I would say at least 7 more years probably. So I actually like that. I like that. We'll stick with that. Josh Allen to the Colts for Anthony Richardson, Tyler Warren, Leatu Latu, a first-round pick and a third-round pick. That is our equivalent to the Giannis trade. The next trade, LaMelo Ball to the Timberwolves for Naz Reid, 1 unprotected pick, 3 first-round pick swaps, and 3 second-round picks. Now this one, it shouldn't be super hard because I feel like LaMelo is such a peculiar and unique player. I feel like LaMelo has to be a receiver. Like if we had
I was thinking like a quarterback.
You think so? I'm trying to think of someone who just plays the game kind of wild, uniquely.
That's what I mean,
like
a quarterback, like outside the top 10 quarterback.
Would it be like he might be too young, like a Jackson Dart? I wanted to say Caleb, but I wouldn't like that even though I think that is a fair comparison. I think a Caleb for LaMelo is a fair comparison because Caleb is very, very shaky when he's standing in that pocket, but he loves to extend and get out the pocket. But I don't think people would like that comparison at all. LaMelo. It really would. It's really a small list of quarterbacks that you could say. Like I think like Dart, like Daniels maybe.
What
but
about?
Maybe you could say Daniels, though, because of also the injury stuff.
No.
LaMelo has dealt with injuries. But I think
that.
I think Daniels would be a little bit above.
What about fuck? I feel like I'm disrespecting LaMelo a little bit. About Stroud?
I couldn't go Stroud for you. I'd have to go with somebody that actually, because even though LaMelo is a very inefficient player, he is one of the better playmakers that we have in the league. And when he was on the court, the Hornets offense was one of the best in the league last year. And I think that's tough. He's not Hurts. Jordan Love maybe. I mean, Love can get kind of sporadic at times. Man, that's why I was thinking receiver potentially. If we were to go receiver, just off the top of my mind, I'm trying to think of receivers that could fit this. You got like a Jamison Williams. You got like I don't know if
Chris
I really like George
Olave.
Pickens. Chris Olave, sure. Chris Olave is a little bit quiet and reserved, though. But I think the player match is not too far off. And I'm also trying to think, yeah, Olave wouldn't be bad. Garrett Wilson. Running back wise, like Jahmyr Gibbs would be like a fun one to throw out, but Jahmyr Gibbs is like he's above a LaMelo Ball when we're comparing it that way. And then outside of that, like
Ayuk.
I mean, not that far. Let's hope LaMelo doesn't go off the rail like that. Let me look at like running backs. Like, ooh, maybe this is where we go A-Chain. Is A-Chain too good for LaMelo?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough because LaMelo really could go anywhere here. He really could. He could go running back. He can go receiver. He can go quarterback. And, like, none of the other running backs I'm liking at all. Like, at all. Like, okay, where are you leaning? Are you leaning quarterback, running back, receiver?
It's tough. I don't know. I'm looking still.
I'm trying to find, and again, he's like, no, I'm not even gonna say that. That's disrespectful to that player. I'm not going to utter those two in the same conversation. I'm sorry for even thinking that. Nope. I mean, maybe I was gonna say maybe DK, but DK probably a few years ago I would give it to you. Maybe not current day, not 2026 DK. Man, this really is tough. Like Genty, but also no.
What about Purdy?
I think Purdy's too. I get too much into thinking about the player because it's like for LaMelo, I want to find a player that matches his type of vibe, and Purdy's just too clean cut.
We're not gonna be able to do this, bro.
That's why if we do a quarterback, I like Love.
How the hell does Love match LaMelo's vibe?
He's a risky playmaker. That dude will chuck the ball 40 yards downfield, and there's only a defender.
You're talking about play style?
He's a player that can.
I thought
you
you're talking
about
like personality.
No, he's more. I'm more low thinking about like play style with the Love. He's a guy that can get reckless. He's gonna when he's on, he's on. He looks like one of the best players in the league, but also he's going to have some really low lows where you're like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And when he's on, the Packers look like a contender. And then when he's off, it's like, bro, they're going to finish last in their division. I think if we go quarterback, I think Love is the best option.
All right, we do Love.
Okay. So our LaMelo Ball equivalent will be Jordan Love. And then getting traded to a team that would put this team in another echelon, and then probably a team that has like a superstar receiver but doesn't have a quarterback that you would say. So who are some of the best receivers in the league that don't have a quarterback surrounding them? Like,
it's got to be like a really good receiver though.
Man, there's not too many around the league now that I'm looking at it. Oh, the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Boom. Justin Jefferson. Because it's like, if you got to think of teams that need quarterback, because the Timberwolves desperately needed a point guard. And then you have to think about, do they have a superstar receiver? The Browns don't have a superstar receiver. Steelers, nope. Titans don't. Like, Raiders, they just drafted one that wouldn't make sense. Jets, like, Garrett Wilson is good. He's not anywhere near Anthony Edwards. Like, Justin Jefferson literally is the Anthony Edwards of the NFL. They did photo shoots together. They're both in Minnesota. This is a match made in heaven. I think that, even though it is a rivalry thing, which wouldn't fit with the NBA, I think just talking team and fit, need everything, I think that makes the most sense. I like that a lot. So, and now we got to figure out the package. So this package would be Nas Reed, an unprotected pick, 3 pick swaps, and 3 second-round picks. I would say for the Vikings, who is the Nas Reed of the Vikings? Man, let's check out this Vikings depth chart and try to find the Nas Reed of the Vikings. Would it be like Hawk? Because it has to be like a fan favorite type of thing. Is it Hawk? Is it Andrew Van Ginkel? But also, like, for the NBA, it's so tough. I feel like we might even have to do like a 2-person deal here, because or maybe it's like a
Byron
O'Neal.
Murphy.
I think I'd rather go like a Brian O'Neal here. Christian Darrisaw is too good. Wouldn't make sense. Hawk is almost like too bad, unfortunately. Addison's not bad though. Like, it makes sense because like Nas is like a big loss for the Timberwolves. And it's like he's coming off the bench, and you can compare that to like a wide receiver 2 in the league in a sense. And I would assume Addison's a pretty decent fan favorite, even though he does like to speed a lot, which doesn't really have to do with anything, but thought I'd mention it. Okay. So yeah, and then the compensation wise, it is a lot of picks, but I think we could probably leave this at like a second and a 5th or something like that. It's 1 unprotected pick and then 3 swaps, which swaps are obviously very valuable, but it's not as valuable as an unprotected pick. So maybe we do Jordan Love for Jordan Addison, a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. Does that sound decent enough? We'll land on that. So our final trade there will be, as I said, Jordan Love getting traded to the Vikings for Jordan Addison, a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. And our final trade that we will try to find a comparison for is Kawhi Leonard getting traded back to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. So with this one, I think we should try to stay age appropriate and try to find an older, still elite superstar in the league. Ooh. And I think I got it off the rip. Derrick Henry. What is he? 31, 32 years old at this point. Both very quiet. Both, dominated for a long time. Both have had somewhat of an injury history. Not big for Derrick Henry, but somewhat. I think I like that. If I'm thinking about receivers, maybe, because I think it's tough to find quarterbacks. There's not too many older quarterbacks in the league that are really doing it. Like Matthew Stafford, maybe, but like that one wouldn't really make sense. Like Dak.
You don't want to
getting
go
up
defensive
there,
player here.
Older
Since
defensive superstar. Where would your head go? I mean, it would make sense. Kawhi Leonard is one of the best defenders in NFL, or not NFL, in NBA history. I'm sure he'd be one of the best in NFL too, but in NBA history. So it would make sense. Could he be like it's not. He's not as that would feel too crazy. Like Myles Garrett would only make sense if we did Giannis, but I'm more so thinking about it like Myles Garrett is 30 years old at this point.
What about like a Fred Warner?
Fred's not bad. Fred, I mean, again, I think about it too much. Fred's 29, turning 30 this year. I mean, let me go over these teams. Let me think about these teams again real quick and see if I can find anybody that's adding up. Like Daniil Hunter is a little bit older, but again, he's not as good as Kawhi. Like, that's tough. Jeffrey Simmons, he's probably the same age as like a Fred. I don't mind Fred. honestly. I don't mind Fred now that I'm thinking about it. Like, if we were to go like quarterback, receiver, run, like if we were to go offense, I think Derrick Henry does make sense. As far as receivers, it is tough to try to find an older one that's still doing it. Like, Tay's the really only one that makes sense, but Kawhi is better than Tay at this point, comparing it one for one. So okay, Fred Warner's not bad. Fred Warner's not bad. And I don't know if Fred, I mean, that's me thinking about it too deep, so I won't even go there. Okay. Fred Warner getting traded to a Raptors equivalent for the NFL. Where would that be? A team that, is on the cusp, middling, made the playoffs, had some good games, and could potentially be one piece away. Maybe like, maybe like the Cowboys. Maybe like the Lions. Maybe like, Texans. I'd put a notch over the Raptors. Ravens are probably a notch over the Raptors too, but I kind of like Cowboys. I kind of like Lions. I kind of like, I mean, the NFC South teams like does he boost the Panthers, Saints, Bucks, Falcons up that much? Not really. Chargers maybe, but also I don't know.
What about like maybe the Bengals? Even though they didn't make the playoffs last year, I mean, they're always like right there on the cusp. They're not a terrible team. They just have a really bad defense.
Bengals, I don't mind. Adding Dexter Lawrence and Fred Warner in the same offseason, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad. Okay, let me check out the Bengals depth chart, and let me see if I can find anything that I would like. And I mean, it probably wouldn't be too hard. We'd try to find like a somewhat aging, like solid player. I think we could find that potentially on this roster. Like Orlando Brown Jr. is bad, so I'm not gonna do that. It would be tough to try to find
Emmanuel Quickly, Grady Dick.
Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick. So it's like a 20-point per game type of guy, all-star before. So like a guy that had
T. Higgins.
Yeah, T wouldn't be bad. It would probably be like T plus maybe like one young player like
T. Higgins,
Shamar Stewart.
Shamar
Stewart probably. Because I mean Grady Dick don't get really no burn for the Raptors at this point. Young type of prospect, and then we'd go like, because of the pick compensation, 2 unprotecteds, a pick swap, 2 seconds, we'd probably go like, we could go a first, but maybe that's too much. Maybe like a second and a third. Maybe Fred Warner for T. Higgins, Shamar Stewart, a second and a third. That doesn't feel too far off.
Yeah. Honestly, not a bad team up either, because like with how it is in the NBA, Kawhi and Scotty, how good of a defender Scotty is, and then Fred Warner and Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. So that will be our final trade. It will be sending Fred Warner to the Cincinnati Bengals for T. Higgins, Shamar Stewart, a 2nd-round pick, and a 3rd-round pick. Those are our NBA to NFL equivalent trades. That was pretty tough. We probably could have nailed those better on the head if this was like a full video thing of us doing these, but that was actually pretty fun. Like, honestly, trying to nail those, like, I felt like we did pretty decent with all of those. Like, some of them, like, the Jaylen Brown one was just too tough considering the circumstances, and it also being just a flat-out terrible trade. Like, you're trading down so much, but overall, I think we did pretty solid. Let us know what you guys think about those in the comment section below. And the next thing that we will be getting into is the bulk of this episode, is the thumbnail, title, everything. We're going to be doing a redraft of the NFL, but it is going to be a little bit different. So in this specific redraft, we're only going to be doing the top 10, and there will be no quarterbacks selected in this draft because it wouldn't make it fun. I mean, we were going back and forth, like, should we do this like, a whole 32 team draft? Like, should we go back and forth, whatever it may be? And I think the easiest way to go about it, just do a top 10 redraft if the NFL restarted today and no quarterbacks could be selected. Because if we did do that, the top 10 would be entire quarterbacks. I mean, realistically, we'd probably get to 23 potentially before. Before we get into it, where do you think you would draft? Like, for example, I think our number one would be the same. Where would you draft your number one pick in this current draft if quarterbacks were available? Do you think you'd draft 20 quarterbacks before your number one pick in the draft that we're doing
20.
today?
No, there's not 20 quarterbacks I'd take over.
Definitely 10.
My one.
But would it get up to 15?
In between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll do that quick exercise. I'm just going to rattle off quarterbacks, and you tell me. I'm going to pull up teams just so I have it. I'm going to rattle off quarterbacks on these teams, and you tell me when to stop. All right? And that's where, the number one pick will go. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. We'll go Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Drake May, Fernando Mendoza, Cam Ward. We'll go Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford.
Again? You cut out after who was after Brock Purdy?
I think I said Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I'm stopping it there.
You would stop it. Would you stop? I didn't say Stafford because of age. Would you have stopped at Stafford?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
For
the only other
season,
quarterbacks I
Stafford.
didn't say. Would you take Dak? I don't know if I said Dak.
Probably I'll take Dak, yeah.
Okay. The only other ones that Hurts. Would you take Hurts? That's
No.
kind of people aren't gonna like that. That's disrespectful of me not to say Hurts, but. And then we have I know you're a big Bo Nix guy. I didn't say Bo Nix. I didn't say Stroud. I didn't say Bryce Young. I didn't say Tyler Shuck. Would you take Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck, Baker Mayfield over your number one pick? Any of those guys?
There's a player in there. You're forgetting to group in with them. But
my bad. Tua. Would
no.
you take Tua in that?
Not over those three.
No.
Not Tua. Getting warmer.
Let me see if I can actually nail this. Hold on. Give me one quick second as my Google loads. Oh, you were talking about Trevor Siemian. Or was that?
Nope.
No, I'm sorry. That's a brain fart. It's a brain fart. Jack Strand out of what, Jaden? Where the fuck did Jack Strand go to college? Min Moorhead. That's not real. And as Cuddles gets excited, as I'm talking about Min Moorhead, I don't even know what college that is. I've never heard of that. And don't even know where it is. Anyway.
I think my professor went there.
We've done a lot of rambling, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into my top 10. If the NFL restarted today and I had to draft a top 10 excluding quarterbacks are eliminated from this draft, here is how I believe the top 10 would go. At number 10, I have the second best defensive player in the league, Kyle Hamilton. As I mentioned, I think this dude is a superstar. I think he's one of not only the best defenders, I think he's one of the best players, period, in the NFL. Ultimately ends up at 10 because of positional value, because age is not an issue. 25 years old, already multiple-time All-Pro first team, and has made an All-Pro second team before. You turn on the film, this guy makes plays that no other people in the world could probably make. So Kyle Hamilton at number 10. At number 9, I have Jackson Smith and Jigba, coming off being the best receiver in the league last year and only being 24 years old. I mean, his stock is through the roof. He's going to continue on that great trajectory, I believe. At number 8, I have Jamar Chase, only 26 years old and has had some historic, legendary seasons already in his career. When you talk about his rookie season being maybe the best receiving season that we've seen from a rookie, on top of that having a triple crown, the dude has done it all by only 26. So I can't wait to see where he goes from here. At number 7, I have Tristan Wirfs, probably the best pass protector in the league, and is also incredibly, incredibly versatile. Has years starting at right tackle and left tackle, a guy that really can do it all on that offensive line. At number 6, I have Patrick Surtain. What was that?
I said all-pro at both positions.
Yeah, true. Similar to former Raider Khalil Mack. At number 6, I have Patrick Surtain. Don't really need to say much about this guy. Best corner in the league, one of the best players, period, in the league, and is on a trajectory quietly to be one of the best cornerbacks of all time. Like, it's not crazy to say that when it's all said and done, not even when it's all said and done, maybe in another 5 years from now, we could be talking about Patrick Surtain being one of the 10 best corners to ever play this game. At number 5, I have Aiden Hutchinson, a guy that is consistently at the top of the league in any type of edge statistic that you look at, and he's only 25 years old. I know he does have slight injury history, but that's not going to bother me when a guy does what he does. At number 4, I have the best tackle in the league, in my opinion, Penei Sewell. 3 consecutive All-Pro first teams, and he's only 25 years old. This guy is dominant in the run game. He will completely change your offense being on that right side of the field. Penei Sewell at number 4. And at number 3, I have Micah Parsons, a little bit older, I think the oldest player, tied for the oldest player that I've read off so far at 27 years old. He would have been at 2 for me. Only reason he's at 3 is because of the injury from this past season, but I got no doubt that Micah Parsons will still come back extremely strong. At number 2, I do have the by far and away oldest player on my list, Myles Garrett. I know it's kind of crazy to have a 30-year-old going at number 2 in an NFL redraft, but I don't care. I don't care about none of that. He just broke the sack record, and I have all the confidence in the world that Myles Garrett is still going to be able to do this type of production for the next probably 4 or 5 years. And if you're telling me I'm getting that, I'm good. I don't care about no age if he's going to do things like that on the football field. And at number 1, I have Will Anderson Jr. Obviously not as good as the guy that I just read off, but only 24 years old and is probably the second best edge rusher in the league. It's not crazy to say that. It's obviously up between him and Micah, but what he did this past year, my goodness, can he go? I mean, an unreal player, and he earns my number 1 spot in an NFL redraft. Whew. All right, Jaden. Let's see what you got for me.
My top 10 is pretty much all the same players as Devin. I think we have one different player from what I remember, so I don't think I'm going to go into in depth with anything. But yeah. At my number 10, I have Kyle Hamilton. At my number 9, I have Joe Alt. I believe that's the first player that's different from us.
That's the differ. So who did you? I guess sorry to interrupt, but who did I have on your list that you did not? Was it JSN?
Remember. Yeah, JSN. I didn't have JSN on my list.
Okay,
no,
that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, Joel I have on my list. I just think he's a franchise cornerstone tackle. I think he already is one of the best tackles in the league, and I think he's the youngest player on this list, if I'm not mistaken, for me. And I just think he's going to be even better in the coming years. At number 8, I have Penei Sewell. I'm not as high on him as you. I think you had him with top 4. I think he's still one of the best tackles in the league, but I just value what Tristan Wirfs brings to the football team a little bit more in the pass protection. But yeah, Penei Sewell's still a hell of a player. Number 7, I have Aiden Hutchinson. We all know what he can do. Sack demon, just so crafty. with his spin move and fighting with his hands. At number 6, I have Patrick Surtain, best corner in the league. At number 5, I have Tristan Wirfs, who I believe is the best tackle in the league. At number 4, I have Myles Garrett, a little lower than what Devin had, but I'm just taking age into a factor. At number 3, I have Jamar Chase, who I think is probably the best receiver in the NFL, or top 2 in my opinion. I think his ceiling as a player, what he can do is just trumps what all the other receivers can do. I think he could be the next receiver to break that Calvin Johnson record. I think his explosiveness as a receiver is just unmatched. Unlike any of the other, really unlike Puka, Jefferson, JSN, they have the volume numbers, but I just think what Jamar Chase brings as a wide receiver is it's explosive. I think that's like a Randy Moss type archetype. Mm-hmm. I think he's insane. At my number 2, I have Michael Parsons, and my number 1, I have Will Anderson.
Yeah,
just like Devin.
I think we matched on 3 like exact spots, and I believe that's Will Anderson, PS2, and Kyle Hamilton. So yeah, a very, very, very similar list. The biggest ones where we differ is Panay and Jamar. I think I looked at the receivers, and it was tough for me. When I originally made my list, I did have Jamar and JSN like ridiculously high. I think I had them at like 4 and 5. And then I also had Puka on my list. I guess I didn't mention that. My 2 honorable mentions are Derek Stingley Jr. and Puka Nacua. Those are 2 players that I did not talk about, but I wanted to show a little bit of flowers. And realistically, I mean, there's a lot of players that you can talk about potentially being on this list. But yeah.
I think receiver kind. I don't know if other people do this, but I kind of do this sometimes. Not really in the same light as running backs, but like I feel like I don't think of them being like teams value them as much. But I mean, if you take out quarterback and edge out of the function in drafts, obviously tackles are there too. But like receivers, like one of the most important positions. Like draft wise, you see them go in the top 10 left and right. Yeah. Like teams don't care. They still value receivers, and they're a valuable position. I mean, you see how much they get paid. There's a lot of great ones out there, but I mean, as you can see, they raise your ceiling as a team. Like how many teams have won a Super Bowl that don't have a upper echelon wide receiver on their team?
Yeah,
can't really name it. I mean, if you think about it,
even if Seahawks from this past year. I mean, you'd probably look at like the Chiefs teams.
They do have a ring without Tyreek Hill, but they have 2 with Tyreek Hill. But then again, they still had Kelsey, which he wasn't that great in that last ring. But yeah, they kind of bend those rules. But other than that, I mean,
but even if you think about like
at least since 2020
against,
at least since 2020, because you start to go back. I mean, Eagles didn't really have one. Patriots didn't really have one.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, from like in the last almost decade, most of the teams have an upper echelon, top 5,
top tier receiver,
top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
It's a very valuable position. It raises your ceiling a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw Carnell Tate took at number 4 for those reasons. They want as much help around Cam Ward as they can get, and they believe that Carnell Tate is that dude. Well, that is our top 10 of an NFL redraft, excluding quarterbacks, which obviously if we did those, they would dominate it. You know what? That's probably where we'll end this video. If we did a regular redraft, the NFL is reset, you can take anybody. What do you think your top 3, top 5 looks like? Do you think it would be very vanilla? Would you go Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert type of thing? Or do you think you'd have like a Daniels, Drake May, stuff like that? You wouldn't. Yeah, that's the thing. I've seen people like CBS.
I mean, Drake May and Daniels, I think. Yeah.
That's what I was going to talk about. I've seen people have Drake May at 1 a lot. And I'm like, I just don't know if I would agree with that personally. It's just like even if I'm looking at the younger quarterbacks, like maybe I would have Drake May above them, but I don't know. At one, like I would still comfortably probably take Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes if you were to reset the NFL today. Personally, like even with age, even with some of the injury concern with those players, like I don't know. I don't know. And I would probably come off as a Drake May Patriot hater, but I promise I'm not. That's just what I've seen so far, and I could easily completely change my mind at the end of this next season. But yeah, if you told me the NFL reset today, my top 5, no order, would probably be Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, and then at number 5. Yeah, it would be between May, Daniels, Williams, Mendoza, and probably maybe Herbert. Maybe Herbert's up there. I know we're both, still high on Herbert, even though like nobody in the NFL world likes Herbert because he can't win a playoff game, which is fair criticism, but context matters. Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be tough to really pinpoint on who would be that number 5 for me. But it would be between some of the young guys, and then you just see a stretch there probably. You'd see a stretch of all the young players that I just mentioned go in a row, whether that be May, Daniels, Williams, Mendoza, Ward, any of those type of players, Herbert, But yeah, that is where we will end this. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts down below about our rankings, about our trade equivalents, whatever it may be. And we will see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.